You're listening to the CyberWire Network, powered by N2K.
Hey everybody, Dave here. Have you ever wondered where your personal information is lurking online? Like many of you, I was concerned about my data being sold by data brokers. So I decided to try Delete Me. I have to say, Delete Me is a game changer. Within days of signing up, they started removing my personal information from hundreds of data brokers. I finally have peace of mind knowing my data privacy is protected. Delete Me's team does all the work for you with detailed reports, so you know exactly what's been done. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Now at a special discount for our listeners. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/N2K and use promo code N2K at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/N2K and enter code N2K at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/N2K, code N2K. Exploding pagers in Lebanon are not a cyber attack. Europol leads an international effort to shut down the encrypted communications app Ghost. Microsoft IDs Russian propaganda group's disinformation campaigns. California governor signs bills regulating AI in political ads. A multi-step zero-click macOS calendar vulnerability is documented. A new phishing campaign targets Apple ID credentials. The U.S. cyber ambassador emphasizes deterrence. Our guest is Linda Betz, Executive Vice President of Global Community Engagement at the FS-ISAC, sharing their work on maintaining security support at all levels of cyber maturity. And AI tries to out-Buffett Warren Buffett. It's Wednesday, September 18th, 2024. I'm Dave Bittner, and this is your CyberWire Intel Briefing. The recent explosions in Lebanon, which killed 12 people and injured nearly 2,800, were not the result of a cyber attack, but rather a coordinated physical operation. According to Lebanese state media and Hezbollah, the devices affected were pagers used by members of the group. U.S. and other officials confirmed that Israel had likely planted small explosives in these pagers, which were remotely detonated. This sabotage disrupted Hezbollah's communication infrastructure, which had relied on pagers due to concerns about the security of mobile networks. The pagers, sourced from a Taiwanese company, were tampered with before reaching Hezbollah. Israel has not officially commented on the attack, but it aligns with their broader covert efforts against Hezbollah and Iran. Despite the technological sophistication of the operation, the blasts were not the result of a cyber breach, but rather a physical modification of the communication devices. Hospitals in Beirut were overwhelmed with casualties, and the explosions have heightened tensions in the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hezbollah, which has been further complicated by the Gaza war. While Hezbollah has vowed retaliation, this incident underscores the intensifying covert conflict between Israel and its regional adversaries. Axios reports that a second wave of attacks occurred today, blowing up thousands of Hezbollah walkie-talkies. Axios says the devices were similarly booby-trapped by Israeli intelligence before they were delivered to Hezbollah. Authorities from 9 countries, in collaboration with Europol, dismantled the encrypted communications app Ghost, which had been a key tool for organized crime. The app facilitated illegal activities such as drug trafficking, money laundering, and violent crimes. Criminals favored Ghost because it allowed them to evade law enforcement through robust encryption and message self-destruction features. Servers were located in France and Iceland, while its creators resided in Australia. The international operation resulted in 51 arrests, including the app's mastermind, JJ Yunjung. Several threats to life were thwarted, and a drug lab was uncovered in Australia. Europol highlighted the collaborative effort, stating that even highly encrypted networks cannot evade law enforcement. Russian propaganda groups have escalated a disinformation campaign targeting Vice President Kamala Harris's presidential run through fake videos, Microsoft researchers revealed. These videos, shared widely on social media, falsely accuse Harris of crimes like a fabricated hit-and-run incident and a staged assault at a Donald Trump rally. One viral video, accusing Harris of paralyzing a girl, reached 7 million views on X Twitter. Another video depicted a fake New York billboard with offensive messages about Harris. Microsoft identified 3 Russian government-backed groups involved in these smear campaigns, with one group particularly focused on creating attention-grabbing, scandalous content. This activity persists despite previous exposures of these attacks, with Russia continuing efforts to undermine the U.S. election. Microsoft also noted 6 Russian hacktivist groups working in coordination with Russian intelligence services. Alongside Russia, a Chinese influence group has also been active, seeking to amplify divisions within the U.S. rather than promoting a specific candidate. California Governor Gavin Newsom signed 3 bills to regulate the use of artificial intelligence in political ads ahead of the 2024 election. One new law, effective immediately, prohibits the creation and distribution of AI-generated deepfakes related to elections starting 120 days before and 60 days after Election Day. Courts can now block such materials and impose civil penalties. Additionally, large social media platforms must remove deceptive AI content under a separate law, while political campaigns must disclose if their ads use AI-altered material. California was the first state to ban election-related deepfakes in 2019, and these measures further strengthen its proactive stance. A zero-click vulnerability in macOS Calendar was discovered by researcher Mikko Kentala, allowing attackers to write or delete files within the Calendar sandbox. This flaw could lead to malicious code execution and unauthorized access to sensitive iCloud Photos data. By exploiting the vulnerability, attackers could send malicious calendar invites that bypassed file name sanitization, facilitating directory traversal. The attack chain involved multiple phases, including injecting malicious files to execute remote code during a macOS upgrade and gaining access to iCloud Photos by altering the Photo app's configuration. Apple patched these vulnerabilities in a series of updates between October 2022 and September 23. The exploit was detailed in a Disobey 2024 presentation demonstrating how attackers could compromise user data without interaction. Action Fraud, the UK's National Fraud and Cyber Reporting Centre, has issued a warning to iPhone users about a phishing campaign targeting Apple ID credentials. The scam involves emails that falsely claim the recipient's iCloud storage is nearing capacity, prompting them to upgrade or update payment information. These emails appear to come from Apple but direct users to malicious sites designed to steal Apple ID login details, payment card information, and personal data. Over 1,800 reports of this phishing attack have been filed in just 2 weeks. To avoid falling victim, Action Fraud advises users to never click on links in suspicious emails and instead check their iCloud storage directly through their iPhone or Apple device settings. If unsure, users should contact Apple through official channels. Nate Fick, the U.S. cyber ambassador, argues that deterrence is crucial in cyberspace, contrary to some views within the security community. In an interview with Cyberscoop's Tim Starks, Fick emphasizes that cyber deterrence is increasingly urgent due to the rise of hybrid threats, blending cyber attacks with foreign influence and physical warfare, seen in countries like Estonia, Poland, and Ukraine. He stresses the need to enforce norms and prevent adversaries like China and Russia from expanding their influence through digital means. Fick also highlights the importance of public education to combat disinformation, comparing it to successful campaigns for public health issues like smoking. His bureau focuses on expanding cyber capabilities, including foreign aid to bolster allied nations' defenses. Specific near-term priorities include Costa Rica and Moldova, both facing significant cyber challenges. Fick believes strategic resource allocation is key, with the U.S. cyber policy delivering strong returns on investment in global security. Coming up after the break, my conversation with Linda Betz, Executive Vice President of Global Community Engagement at the FS-ISAC. Stay with us. And now, a word from our sponsor, KnowBe4. It's all connected, and we're not talking conspiracy theories. When it comes to InfoSec tools, effective integrations can make or break your security stack. The same should be true for security awareness training. KnowBe4, provider of the world's largest library of security awareness training, provides a way to integrate your existing security stack tools to help you strengthen your organization's security culture. KnowBe4's Security Coach uses standard APIs to quickly and easily integrate with your existing security products from vendors like Microsoft, CrowdStrike, and Cisco, 35 vendor integrations and counting. Security Coach analyzes your security stack alerts to identify events related to any risky security behavior from your users. Use this information to set up real-time coaching campaigns targeting risky users based on those events from your network, endpoint, identity, or web security vendors. Then coach your users at the moment the risky behavior occurs, with contextual security tips delivered via Microsoft Teams, Slack, or email. Learn more at knowbefore.com/securitycoach. That's knowbefore.com/securitycoach. And we thank KnowBe4 for sponsoring our show. Imagine this. Your primary identity provider goes down, whether it's a cloud outage, network issue, or even a cyber attack. Suddenly, your business grinds to a halt. But what if it didn't have to? Meet Identity Continuity from Strata, the game-changing solution that keeps your business running smoothly no matter what. Whether your cloud IDP crashes or your on-prem system faces a hiccup, Identity Continuity seamlessly shifts authentication to a secondary or even tertiary IDP, automatically and without disruption. Powered by the Mavericks Identity Orchestration Platform, Identity Continuity uses smart health checks to monitor your IDP's availability and instantly activates failover strategies tailored to your needs. When the coast is clear, it's a seamless switch back. No more downtime, no lost revenue, no frustrated customers. Just continuous, secure access to your critical applications every single time. Protect your business from the high costs of IDP outages. With Identity Continuity from Strata, downtime is a thing of the past. Learn more at strata.io. Keep your business moving even when the unexpected happens. That's strata.io. Linda Betz is Executive Vice President of Global Community Engagement at the FS-ISAC. I recently chatted with her about their work on maintaining security support at all levels of cyber maturity.
So FS-ISAC is a 25-year-old nonprofit focused on financial services, improving their security, resiliency, trust across the financial sector. We have over 5,000 members across 75 countries.
And the guide that you all recently published, this is titled Cyber Fundamentals, critical baseline security practices for today's threat landscape. What prompted the creation of this guide?
Sure, Dave. So there are probably two major reasons why we decided to do this guide. As part of our mission working with the financial sector, we're involved in understanding things that affect the financial sector on a daily basis, be it, it could be through vendors, issues, breaches, all of those things. So if you think about it, one is the supply chain. So I think things fundamentally have changed over the last 5 to 10 years. It used to be that a lot of companies and financial sectors had their data centers and they were in control of most of their IT resources. That has truly flipped. And instead of being more like a castle moat, it's more like a spider web that you're using multiple different services. And if there's a problem with any of them, they're affecting you. So still, the regulators and the companies are held responsible for the third parties they use. And a lot of those third party services are not regulated at the same level that the financial services are. So really, this guide is helping our members as they reach out to their suppliers, for IT services. What are the key things they should be asking them? So that was one, supply chain. The second big driver to this was that, we have huge organizations that have huge staff and can actually focus on the many different regulations that they have that are applicable to them. But a lot of our smaller organizations do not have the staff to be able to spend the kind of time that a really large financial institution can. So this is trying to help them focus on what we think, what we have seen over the course of many years as being the repeated things that often lead you into trouble of a breach or your vendor having a breach. So this was to try to make it easy and net out for a lot of the smaller institutions.
Well, the guide lays out 15 recommendations that organizations of all levels of cyber maturity can use. In the time we have here, are there any in particular you want to highlight?
Sure. I mean, there's just as we said, there's 15, but one is good hygiene. If you think about it, it's the least sexy thing. But if you're not patching, if you don't have, firewalls closed into default, if you don't have the right security configurations, 50%, 7% of the breaches could have been prevented by installing the available patches. So it really is some basic hygiene, I think is one of them. Another one that has been a big focal point for the financial sector is multi-factor authentication. So certainly if people are using passwords and those passwords are stolen in some level, if you don't have multi-factor, people are just replaying them back. You also don't want to use the same password on all different platforms, and so certainly password management and strong passwords with multi-factor are key. And per Verizon, 24% of the breaches have stolen credentials as their first step of attack.
It strikes me as I'm looking through the list here that while you're focused on the financial services sector, that these fundamentals apply to every organization, and really anybody could benefit from taking a look at this.
Steve, that was a perfect question for me because that was one of the reasons why we made this available on our public website. The majority of the work we do to help our members are not on a public website, but part of putting this on our public website was to help across industry and to help everybody. So it really was to raise all boats up. And in fact, you can find this guide if you go to the FS-ISAC.com website and type in fundamentals. It's available for all of your listeners to be able to read.
There's that old joke about, why do you rob banks? Because that's where the money is. And it strikes me that if, security steps are good enough for the folks in the financial services sector, that's a good place to start for just about anybody.
I personally think one of the wonderful things about information security is the level of sharing and trying to help your colleague out that may even be in a different company. And so I think having some of the best minds come together, under the umbrella of FS-ISAC as our members trying to help each other is just wonderful. And you'll actually see other things that we've shared on our external website. So for example, we've had a working group around artificial intelligence. And again, we didn't want to save that just for the financial sector. And so that too is public out on our external website.
Can you tell us a little bit about the ISACs in general? I mean, it really seems to me like this is a real multiplier for organizations to benefit from each other's knowledge and the way that you facilitate these conversations.
I think you're absolutely right. And so there are multiple ISACs. And again, that started about 25 years ago with that FS-ISAC being, one of the first. So depending on whatever industry you're in, you probably want to see if there is an ISAC for you. And chances are there are, because there are many. But besides that, FS-ISAC is actually part of the cross-ISAC group. There are ISACs that get together and make sure that we are sharing, among ourselves and helping each other. So it is a wonderful organization to be part of and to be able to share. The other one is that the ISACs are really the good guys trying to help each other. And if you kind of put that in that perspective, it is a wonderful thing that we can share with each other and help each other out.
That's Linda Betz, Executive Vice President of Global Community Engagement at the FS-ISAC. And check out their guide, Cyber Fundamentals, Critical Baseline Security Practices for Today's Threat Landscape. We'll have a link in the show notes. And now, a word from our sponsor, Cortex. Security teams face a barrage of more security tools create more complexity. More devices need protection. More specialized focus areas create more silos. The security landscape is changing fast. How can security operations transform to meet current threats? Cortex by Palo Alto Networks consolidates SecOps tools into an integrated platform and helps organizations stop threats at scale with AI, automation, and analytics. Learn more at paloaltonetworks.com/Cortex. And finally, fintech startup Intelligent Alpha is launching an exchange-traded fund powered by AI chatbots modeled after legendary investors like Warren Buffett and Stanley Druckenmiller. The Intelligent Livermore ETF, trading under the ticker LIVR, uses ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude as its investment committee. These chatbots mimic the strategies of iconic money managers to curate a global portfolio across various sectors like healthcare and renewables. CEO Doug Clinton likens this AI-driven approach to hedge fund pods, each focusing on specialized areas of expertise. While it's an audacious attempt to weaponize AI for riches, the strategy remains experimental, with little evidence proving AI's investment edge over traditional methods. Still, the ETF includes human oversight to prevent any hallucinations from the AI, like accidentally investing in fraudulent companies. Despite the hype, AI-powered ETFs have mostly struggled to outperform traditional funds, but Intelligent Alpha hopes to change that by adding more products in the future. What could possibly go wrong? And that's the CyberWire. For links to all of today's stories, check out our daily briefing at thecyberwire.com. We'd love to know what you think of this podcast. Your feedback ensures we deliver the insights that keep you a step ahead in the rapidly changing world of cybersecurity. If you like our show, please share a rating and review in your favorite podcast app. Please also fill out the survey in the show notes or send an email to cyberwire@n2k.com. We're privileged that N2K CyberWire is part of the daily routine of the most influential leaders and operators in the public and private sector, from the Fortune 500 to many of the world's preeminent intelligence and law enforcement agencies. N2K makes it easy for companies to optimize your biggest investment, your people. We make you smarter about your teams while making your teams smarter. Learn how at n2k.com. This episode was produced by Liz Stokes. Our mixer is Trey Hester, with original music and sound design by Elliot Peltzman. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. Our executive editor is Brandon Karpf. Simone Petrella is our president. Peter Kilpie is our publisher. And I'm Dave Bittner. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here tomorrow.